So earlier this year we were passing through Redbay, Alabama, and thought it's only right to call into Tiffin and do a factory tour. So this is how we got on. So I'm here at the Tiffin reception centre where I'm just about to do a Tiffin factory tour. There's approximately 30 people here with me. They do this every single day of the week. It's completely free. You can take as many videos and photos as you wish, unlike Integra where they restrict that. They don't like you taking video or photos of their work. Here they welcome you to take as many photos or video as you go. They also supply headsets and radios, so you can actually hear what the guide is talking about in the shops that are maybe a little bit noisy. So we're going to do the tour and we'll see how it goes. So as you leave the reception area, you have a short walk across the car park, and right in front of you, as you can see there, that is actually the head office of Tiffin, and that's where Bob Tiffin is based. Next door to that, we're going to enter a door where it's a start of the woodworking shop. But you definitely need these headsets because it's really, really noisy here. Now this is where the wood comes in as raw material, and from here it's sorted, bundled, and then it moves on to the next section. Now the way this tour has been put together is that we are going to follow the progress of these raw materials. So unlike an Integra tour where you only see what they want you to see, here at the Tiffin establishment you actually see the products come in, raw materials, and we're going to watch those products being made into cabinet doors, into kitchen units, interior walls. The sheer size of this place is incredible. I mean, as far as the eye can see, there are workshops filled floor to ceiling with machinery and wood milling machines. It is a sight to behold. Been to some places, but this woodshop is really impressive. It's absolutely massive. They salt the wood, they get the wood in raw, they plane the wood, they glue it, they shape it. This is amazing. One thing you won't see here is you won't see anybody sitting down or not working. The workforce here are full on. I mean, literally, they've all got their particular jobs in their particular workstations. But everybody is full on. Now in this section is where they're actually finishing the slides, the internal slides. So they're doing the kitchen units, plumbing, they're doing some wiring, and these will be completed units ready to go into the almost finished motorhome when the slides go in. It's quite interesting seeing the slides actually out and seeing how they put them together. And as you can see here, they're all ready, they're all numbered, and they're all been allocated to a specific vehicle, because in Tiffin every single vehicle they manufacture has been sold, apparently. Now, one of the things you will notice when you do this Tiffin factory tour is that most people are actually enjoying what they're doing. They're smiling, they're having a laugh, but they're doing their job at the same time, which is, I mean, that's really important for a good workforce and a happy workforce. So I think, hats off to Tiffin. I mean, what you will see as you go around the factory at the Tiffin tour is you'll see a lot of attention to detail. There's a lot of people take their work, even though it would appear to us to be quite monotonous. I mean, they really do take pride in what they do. These are a particular good example how this wood is all shaped and curved. It's really interesting to watch how they file all the rough edges off, make sure everything's sanded, everything's clamped. It's, as I keep saying, it's impressive. Now this always makes me smile, because when you look at any brochure of an RV manufacturer, they always bang on about the Amish workmanship and how everything's hand cut, hand carved, hand sanded, da-di-da-di-da. This is actually how they do it. It's a CNC machine. They put a program into it via a USB or network connection, press a button, and it turns out whatever they want to turn out. Cabinet doors, kitchens, kitchen work surfaces, you name it, this machine does it. So there's no Amish workmanship here at all. So we're going to leave the woodworking shop now for the time being, and we're going to go walk across to the chassis department. Now they are so busy, they're even working outside. Here you can see a guy prepping a petrol, by the looks of it, a petrol chassis, and then next to that you'll see them doing the same thing, putting the initial wiring in, wiring looms for a diesel chassis. But as you look through the warehouse here, you can't see it on this video, but as you look through the warehouse, you'll see chassis after chassis after chassis after chassis. So they are a busy company. Now the one thing I was a little bit shocked with Tiffin, and that is how much rubbish and junk there is everywhere. I mean, I know they're busy, but it's everywhere. Everywhere you look, there is just stuff chucked all over the floor. I don't know if they have someone who comes in and clears it all up, but I wouldn't have said this was health and safety. This would be a bit of a fire hazard or, trip hazard. I don't know, but it shocked me that to see so much rubbish all the way down the line. It's like they just chuck stuff on the floor. And here again you can see the Amish handcrafted workmanship in full action once again. Interesting, if you look here, they use polystyrene inside their wall cavities, which is very similar to the Fleetwood factory tour that I went on previously some years ago, whereas Integra do use a fibre material, which I personally think is better. As dangerous as it may be, it is actually nice to stand this close to your motorhome or a motorhome being manufactured. I mean, this would just, in Europe, you would have to be behind a barrier, you'd have safety glasses on, helmet, gloves, boots. It's quite incredible the lack of any precautions at all. But that said, it is interesting to watch it being made. But if you go on a factory tour at Tiffin, the one thing that will hit you, as I've said previously, is this junk all over the floor. It makes you wonder how they produce such a nice looking motorhome when it seems to be built in these conditions. It's bizarre. Now the one thing that stood out to me is the thickness of the wood they use on the floor. Because the one thing at Integra which is really impressive is how thick the floors are. And this looks to be about 3/4 of an inch. I have to say I was surprised at the amount of rubbish everywhere. I don't want to bang on about it too long, but you have to see it to believe it. It's just everywhere. So anyway, we'll move on. This is the tiled floor once it's been finished. Fantastic job. And they also use this press to keep the tiles down evenly, so all the tile adhesive adheres to the floor without any dry spots. So that's pretty impressive. And they actually use an electric underfloor heating on that floor. There are actually nowhere in the tour at Tiffin is out of bounds. So if you want to, you can wander over to the welding plant and stand next to the guys welding the chassis. You can stand next to the guys who are putting the front and end caps on. That's quite refreshing that you can see every aspect of your RV or a Tiffin RV being made. It's not doctored in the way that some of the other tours are, where you can only see the parts that they want you to see, squeaky clean, da-di-da-di-da. But here you can see absolutely everything, warts and all. Now it may appear that we're all sort of walking around aimlessly in our little group, but all the time there is a narrative going on in our ear from the tour guide. So as we're walking through this section, we're being told all about the front end caps, how they're put on, where they're made. So we're all walking around in no particular block as a group, because we don't need to be, because we can hear what's being said through the headset, so we don't all have to bunch together to listen to the person speaking. So as I said before, it's a great idea and it works so well. The wiring department was really impressive. They've basically limited their colours of wires down to about 2 or 3, and they actually print on a special machine, as you can see here. They print every single wire, the length of the wire, with a code and what the wire is used for, so that when they're making up the wiring loom, as you can see here, they know what that actual wire is supposed to be connected to at both ends. So that's very impressive, and that just makes life easier. Now some of the coaches actually come back from the paint shop to have extra work done, and you'll see that here. And you are actually allowed, you have to obviously ask, but you are actually allowed to go inside and have a look if you've got a particular, if you've got a particular interest in a particular model and it happens to be there, or you're thinking of buying that model. They will let you go inside, even though the coaches aren't finished, but these are at a stage where it would be safe to go inside and have a look around. So as I said before, there is everything is within limits. Nothing is off limits here. Okay, I've just finished the first part of the tour, and Tiffin make a good looking coach without a doubt. There is mess everywhere, but I suppose that's a result of a fast moving factory. I have noticed some subtle differences between the Integra that we have and the Tiffin, and that's mainly in the size of material used. Tiffin reminds me very much of the way a Fleetwood is made. I did a factory tour at Fleetwood, and it's virtually identical with regards to the side walls and the way that they're bonded to foam with an aluminium frame. So it's very, very similar to the way a Fleetwood is made. They make a very nice looking product, and I think the end result, the end finish, is superb. So I'm going to now go to the paint shop, which is about 5 miles down the road. So I'm going to go to the paint shop and see how they paint these things, because the paintwork on a Tiffin is exceptional. It's absolutely exceptional. I think it's one of the best paint jobs out there, it's far better than Integra. Some of the Integras if you look at them closely, it looks like they've put the paint on with a brush. But they try and tell the customer that it's industry standard. Well, that's rubbish. There is no standard for bad paintwork. So I'm going to go and look at the paint shop now, and I'll take some video and we'll see how we get on. There's a lot of walking on this tour.